Hey there everyone, and welcome to another video where I look at little mechanics in the game or interesting things. This time I'm going to be showing the shift cancelling. Now this is a feature that's in the game, and basically it's the shift button, which because when you're playing on PC, I'm going to show a couple of clips in this video which I've already recorded. I'm just going to add some commentary over. So normally when you play on PC, if you click say over here, then your character would then run over to that place. There's no way to actually stop your movement other than clicking somewhere else, which then overrides it, so you start walking to that place. Or to use skills, if you've got a ranged skill or something, you'll stop moving and you use the skill. But basically the shift button is there, so if you hit the shift at any point, your character will stop moving. It's kind of there as a fail-safe rather than actually a button which we use. I would not recommend using the button. It just doesn't really have much use in combat at all. I know that some people use it in farming. If you use a skill around a corner and then it bugs so you start walking around the corner, you can hit shift and it will stop you running. But to be honest, I find the button too awkward to press. Anyway, one of the really cool things that you can do with it is you can cancel skill movement. So with teleport and charge, when you use a skill, you move to the location and you do the skill at the location. So for this charge, you'll charge there. I'm just showing here. I'm clicking and then I'm hitting shift, so you can see my movement stops. Now what I did there was I clicked shift after using the skill. So I'll just show it again. Basically, you click to use the skill on a target, and then you hit the shift button before you do the movement. It's about a second later. It's actually quite late. And then what happens is the skill gets used, but you don't move from the spot. With Knights, this looks pretty weird because you can do a range attack with the charge, and it's pretty cool with Sparkling Gift because, it does that huge air effect, does the pulling effect, and some damage. I can't really see much use for it on Knight, just simply because you want to be in close range most of the time. You could pull enemies away by selecting a far target and then using the shift cancel to so all the enemies get pulled to that far away target, away from you, if you're in a tight spot. But to be honest, you probably just run. Then I now show it with a couple of other skills. So you can see Sparkling Gift was to hit a big area. This just hits the single target, so you can see it does the hit on that target. And then the Meteor Dash ones, which create a fiery effect at the location of the enemy. The fire effect still happens there. I don't actually know if it hits everything in a line. I assume it probably does hit everything in a line. The charges which do hit in a line, because Sparkling Gift just hits in a big area around where you land. But anyway, so there's probably not much use on Knight. I didn't bother showing Sparkling Gift in PvE. Me sort of pulling enemies together far away, but it does that. It looks pretty cool, quite weird as a Knight. But anyway, so that's that there on a Knight, and then it's a little bit more interesting on the Wizard, because there's a little bit of use here. So I'm starting off. I'm using Fireblink here, and you'll see normal teleport. You teleport where you click. So I'm showing a bit of shift cancelling there for the movement. This is normal teleport. You teleport to the location. With Fireblink, you deal damage where you land, and then you get a move speed buff for a few seconds. So if you cancel it, instead you do the fire effect around where you are, because it's actually after you land. It hits where you're stood. So as you can see here, I'm clicking the target. However, it's actually doing it, where I'm stood. It's doing the damage here rather than at the target. It basically there's no relevance to the target. I'm just literally phasing in and out on the spot and creating a little fire effect around where I am. So now I've switched to Stormgate, which does damage where you teleport from. It does damage and stun. So you can see the little electric effect in the circuit there. I just teleported there to show that it does the damage behind you, even if you do teleport to a location. So yeah, not really much use there. I mean, Stormgate will stun the enemies around you, so it can be good maybe, if you shift cancel to just stun the enemy around you, but to be honest, you could just use the burst skill. Now, where it gets interesting is Holiday Surprise. So, I don't particularly like this skill rune. I think it has very minimal uses. Fireblink just gives you that speed boost, as well as the fire damage where you land. Holiday Surprise is really weird. It creates a gift where you teleport from, which pulls enemies together, and deals no damage. It just pulls them together where you teleport from. and then it deals damage where you land. So that's really weird because you're kind of doing damage, not where you're teleporting. Like you'd think, okay, I'd use this in a place where I'm teleporting out of, a tight situation, a tight spot. So it pulls them all kind of away from where I'm going to, as well as dealing damage to them. However, the damage is done where you're landing, so you kind of want to land next to enemies, in which case, what's the point in the thing behind you? And then, if you're using this in PvP, it would be really cool for the stun effect, except the stun effect is behind you. So, you can I've seen some wizards use this in PvP to teleport out of a situation reliably, because as you teleport out, you stun them, and then, you can get away. But to be honest, Fireblink's just as good, because when you teleport, you then get the move speed boost. So you can put so much distance between you and them that actually you don't need the stun. Plus they could be stun immune. So anyway, I go to show Holiday Surprise here and kind of how it works a bit. So that's the normal teleport. As you can see, the damage is there. The gift is behind. And then, it's just to show there's no damage behind. It's just literally to where you teleport to. And then, that was a failed attempt. The timing's slightly different between Knight and Wizard, and I'd just done the Knight one. So anyway, this is what happens. It looks pretty cool. You get the huge effect around you. And now where this comes in a lot of use. So I've just ranted about the base skill, using the skill normally and how it doesn't really help. However, using it like this means that it pulls all the enemies into you. So it works now like the Knight one, which, as well as doing the damage there where you are. So it's doing the damage properly to, kind of where you want it, as well as pulling all the enemies into you, which, as a Knight, you really want that. Sparkling Gift is brilliant for that. But also, I think for Wizards it's brilliant because you actually have great best damage with like Flame Breath and stuff next to you. So you actually want enemies close to you as long as you can tank them. So by using a mixture of shift cancelling and it normally, you can use it normally to sort of get out of situations or, just otherwise move around. And then you can also use it at times to pull enemies in when you want them to be pulled in. That's my idea. I don't know exactly when I'll be using this and stuff, but I may try it out. So as you can see, it pulled all the enemies in there. And that's what it normally does. If you teleport away, it pulls them all sort of back and, you get away. But anyway, I think it's definitely got some use here. Pulling enemies in around to where you are, and I'll show it here with Flame Breath, putting them into Flame Breath, and can easily get them off like that. So it might be useful to use on some range enemies that, are trying to get away from you, and you're in there with Flame Breath using all these different skills, and you kind of want to just pull them in rather than having to, attack off all the different directions to attack them all. You want to attack them all at once by putting them in together. You can use this with Shift Cancel. So I wanted to really go into the uses of it rather than just show it because it looks cool and everything. But if there's something like this in the game which you can't actually use, it has no use, then there's no point showing it. So I've really gone into the uses, and I think this is probably the only use which you can have for it. But otherwise, mess around with it. It's good fun to practice it. I chatted to a guy who plays on a Mac, and I think he said it worked with the shift key, but he was having trouble with it. It may have just been because he was doing it late, but I know the key mapping on Macs is slightly different, so it may not be the shift key on that. I'm not sure what it is. But anyway, have some fun with it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in another one soon.